Many thanks for joining us on the news at this time. This is the news on Galaxy Television, broadcasting to viewers here in Nigeria, West Africa and around the globe. My name is Tife Tanimomo. Our top stories. The Plateau State government has reimposed a 24-hour curfew in Jos North local government area. On the news, the People's Democratic Party calls on the National Assembly to summon President Muhammadu Buhari for explanation on the incessant bandit and terrorist attacks in the country. And when we take you outside Nigeria, UNICEF warns as 10 million children in Afghanistan are in desperate need for humanitarian assistance. Those are top stories. Bring you details shortly. A very warm welcome to you once again. Many thanks for joining us on the news. Now, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabor, on Wednesday visited the Nigerian Defense Academy, NDA, in Kaduna State for an on-the-spot assessment of the attack on the military institution by bandits. Was briefed on arrival by the NDA Commandant, Major General Yusuf, before he was taken to the scene of the incident. Bandits disguised as military officers invaded the academy on Tuesday, went straight to the officers' quarters inside the school and killed 2 officers. The invaders, after the assault, also whisked another officer away. Eyewitnesses at the NDA explained that the gunmen broke down doors and destroyed windows to gain access into the officers' apartments, after which they opened fire on them. The bandits, after kidnapping the officers, escaped through the breaching barbed wire fence of the academy along the Kaduna Airport Road in Afaka, which is surrounded by a forest. Now, still on that matter, President Muhammadu Buhari says the attack launched on the facility of Nigerian Defense Academy, NDA, on Tuesday, rather than throw a dampener into the morale of the armed forces as it is intended to, will buoy their determination to make a decisive end of criminality in the country. President Buhari vowed that the deceased would not die in vain, as the inhuman act would have consequences that will eventually clean the country of vermin and emancipate the polity from deliberate and targeted atrocious acts into the future. A statement from the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, wants those playing hateful politics with the dastardly acts to desist, noting that rather than recriminations, this is the time for all patriots to support and encourage those who are in the vanguard of the battle against wickedness in the land. In the wake of Tuesday's attack on the Nigerian Defense Academy by bandits, opposition People Democratic Party calls on the National Assembly to summon President Muhammadu Buhari for explanation on the incessant bandit and terrorist attacks in the country. National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Kola Ologbodiyan, said the present administration has failed in all ramifications, particularly in the areas of security of lives and properties.
As a result, the PDP, you will recall, in this same hall, provided blueprints for the purposes of direction for the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. But like I said, that a commander-in-chief or a Boy Scout association will do much more better than this commander-in-chief. They have not been able to implement any of the recommendations brought forward by the People's Democratic Party.
The spokesperson further said the main opposition party said the situation of the country has overwhelmed the present administration.
We have invited you here this afternoon to, through you, alert Nigerians that our nation is collapsing under President Muhammadu Buhari. That as a party, we decry the level of insecurity in our country today because terrorists and bandits have taken over our nation, and there's mass killings, kidnapping for ransom, arson going on nearly everywhere across our land.
So, tracking security matters, the Plateau State government has reimposed a 24-hour curfew on Jos North local government area. Director of Press and Publicity Affairs, Governor Simon Lalong, Dr. Mamouk Macham announced this in a statement on Wednesday. Imposing curfew on the local government follows the attack by suspected herdsmen on a village in Zagam district of the state. Imposing curfew on local government follows tensions sparked by the attack on the area in the village of Zagam district of the state. According to Governor Lalong, the 24-hour curfew will come into force from 4 p.m. on August 25 until further notice. Governor Lalong equally states that the 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew in Jos South and Bassa local government areas still remains in place until further notice. Gunmen have killed no fewer than 36 persons, while several others were injured in a fresh attack which occurred in Awol Ward, Naraguta community in Jos local government area of Plateau State. It was gathered that the gunmen stormed the community with sophisticated weapons around on Tuesday night, killed the victims, while several others who sustained injuries during the attack had been rushed to Bingham University Teaching Hospital in Jos, the state capital. The paramount ruler of the Anaguta ethnic nationality in the state, Uja Johnson Joiro, confirmed the attack to newsmen in Jos on Wednesday. The councillor for Awol Ward in the community, Yusuf Ali, who also confirmed the attack, said the people were burnt alive in the affected areas. According to the councillor, the gunmen first vandalized the iron bridge leading to the community before attacking the people, which made it difficult for the security agents to assess the area when they were contacted over the attacks. You're still on to Galaxy Television News now. Up next is stories. Okay, before we take some of the stories, let's just go on a quick break. We'll be back with more stories. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. This is the news on Galaxy Television. Now, for more updates and latest news, visit our website at www.galaxytvonline.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/GalaxyTV Nigeria. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/GalaxyTV. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Official Galaxy TV. You can also avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. If you have breaking news around you, simply share your story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818-6666-669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comment. And now to the southeast, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma says the indigenous people of Biafra has no influence on the people of the state who is said do not obey the secessionist group's stay-at-home order. Uzodinma said it is only his government that can give order on when people can stay from their work or businesses, and they will obey. People in the state are said do not obey IPOB's order, and that normal activities have continued to flourish in Imo State.
The sit-at-home order, even the people on their own called off the sit-at-home order, and in Imo State is not being observed. the people are doing their businesses, because most people in Imo are businessmen and women who depends on their daily activities and income to feed their families. So they cannot afford to sit at home idle and allow hunger to ravage the state.
Gombe State Governor Inuwa Yahaya says security of lives and properties remains paramount to his administration. The governor made the declaration at the Presidential Villa Abuja on Wednesday after he met with the Chief of Staff to the President. Yahaya noted his state's nearness to the northeast, where insurgency is serious, saying his administration is doing its best to achieve peaceful coexistence among his people.
Well, we thank God as far as the issue of security is concerned. You've rightly mentioned, we're in the midst of the northeast, and we are aware of the challenges the frontline states, that is Borno, Yobe, Adamawa, are facing. So we tried as much as possible to guide our people, in order to live in peace and harmony despite our differences, religious difference, ethnic difference, and other social differences that normally cause rift-raps amongst the people. And we've gotten the understanding of our people.
Zamfara State Governor Bello Matawali has called for a state of emergency in the northern part of the country over security challenges in that region. He made the call on Wednesday at a meeting with the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 10, Ali Janga, at the Government House in Gusau, the state capital of Zamfara. Nigeria's northern region comprises 3 geopolitical zones, namely Northeast, Northwest and North Central, 19 states, as well as the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. Hundreds of thousands of people have been killed in the region, while millions were forced to flee their ancestral homes. Boko Haram insurgents and Islamic State in West Africa province, ISWAP, are reportedly responsible for the incidents in the northeast, while bandits have continued to engage in kidnapping for ransom in the northwest and parts of the north central. Now, in Delta State, the state government has confirmed a fresh outbreak of the avian influenza, also known as bird flu, with over 160,000 birds affected in various farms across 7 local government areas of the state. According to the Commissioner for Agriculture and Natural Resources, Julius Egedi, and his information counterpart, Charles Anyagu, the affected farms are located in Odu, Osimili South, Ukheli North, Ukheli South, Okwe and Sapele North and Sapele local government areas, with samples from the reported farms sent to the National Veterinary Institute, JAS, and all were confirmed to be H5N1 strain of avian influenza. In a bid to control the spread, the state government, through the Department of Veterinary Services and the State Ministry of Agriculture, has carried out a disinfection exercise in affected farms and also stopping all poultry operations in affected farms, respectively. Members of the Joint Health Sector Union University Ilorin Teaching Hospital chapter on Wednesday declared an indefinite strike over the non-payment of promotion and skipping of allowances. According to the reports, this is the second time in less than 2 months that JOHESU members of the UITH chapter will be embarking on a strike action to press home some demands. Chairman of the JOHESU UITH chapter, Olutunde Olaomi, who declared the industrial action during an emergency congress of the union in Ilorin, noted that their requests border on workers' salaries and series of arrears. He alleged maladministration, poor national health insurance scheme for the union members, and what described as out-of-stock syndrome, adding that these issues have not been addressed. According to demands of members have not been met till now, which had inflicted hardship on both workers and patients. Olaomi maintains that his members could no longer endure the hardship, hence the need for indefinite strike. The Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, has emphasized the need for local production of vaccines in partnership with the Chinese government. The chairman of the union, Abuja chapter, Emmanuel Ogbechi, said Nigeria needs to align with vaccine-producing countries to achieve equitable distribution for every citizen, especially those in rural areas.
There are new mutations of the COVID-19 SARS variant, and the reason for this is because rich and industrialized countries have prioritized the vaccination of their people, which is understandably. But there is need for the vaccines to go around, especially to developing and poor countries.
Convener of the workshop, Raphael Oni, said the COVID-19 vaccines are relatively scarce in most African countries and therefore cautioned the federal government to prevent hoarding the vaccines.
It is high time for us in Nigeria to become a major player in COVID-19 vaccine cooperation. As Nigeria among the world travelers, Nigerians are one of the most traveled people. And now, without the vaccine, it's difficult for you to get around the world. We need to align ourselves with countries making vaccine available to the world so that Nigeria generally can benefit from such cooperation.
The Nigeria Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has warned on a high possibility of flash floods occurring across 34 states of the Federation over the next 3 days. According to a communique on Wednesday by NIMET's spokesperson, Mutari Yusuf Ibrahim, the agency explains that moderate to heavy rainfall could lead to flash floods from Tuesday 24th to Thursday 26th of August 2021. It also placed the following states: Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, Kaduna, Kano, Jigawa, Bauchi, Gombe, Yobe, Kebbi, Niger, Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Plateau, Adamawa on a high priority list, Taraba, Kwara, Oyo, Lagos, Ondo, Ogun, Edo, Benue, Enugu, Ebonyi, Imo, Nambra, Abia, as well as coastal states for River State, Delta, Bayelsa, Cross River, Akwa Ibom were not left out. Consequently, the agency advised that the sum charges of flash flood events on roads, settlements, farmlands, and bridges could be more pronounced as a result. The possibility of cars skidding off the road and cars crashing is high as well. NIMET also asked the public to take heed and avoid damages from rain-related hazards occasioned by the predicted flash floods. The need for governance reform to allow states greater control of mineral resources has been identified as imperative for unlocking creative energies of Nigerians for development and untimely of uplifting the country. Now, correspondent John Felix gives us details in this report.
The inaugural lecturer, Professor Catherine Eromosele, says Nigeria's chemical industry is not developed and positioned to uplift productive economic activities. However, she says the value-added industrialization, deploying agro-raw materials which abound in Nigeria, holds promise to unlocking the economic potentials of the country and for effective job creation. The University Dawn, however, urged the federal government to allow states control their resources for growth and development.
Anambra State now exports ugu all over the world. You understand me? If you know your state has mineral, okay, and you can exploit the minerals, then you should be allowed to exploit the mineral and let that, get income for your state. Each state should be allowed to grow at its own pace. That was what we had in the 1960s, and that was why we had much development. Now, everything is centralized. Everything is centralized now, and that is where we are today. Now, with the bitumen in Ondo State, nobody can touch it. It's a federal government thing. And meanwhile, Ondo State has nothing.
The inaugural lecturer notes that there are some issues confronting the dispensation of chemistry curriculum in Nigeria, stating that a vast array of experimental chemical reaction processes that should promote hands-on experience for students, undergraduates, and postgraduates has become inaccessible to them. The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Kolawole Salako, says science and technology has become imperative for Nigeria's growth, and the need for all stakeholders to maximize the non-oil sector.
We have a country that has no petroleum, yet it is the chemical center, if I may put it, of the whole world. They gave their country domestic things they need and also export and make money for their people. You can imagine in a country where unemployment rate is 3.4%. In Nigeria, it's now 34.3%. It only has to do with having policies and having people in places who will drive these policies, who will give our young ones work to do.
We need science, we need technology to grow as a nation. And if we want to leave this tendency of being dependent on some other nations in terms of importation, we need the kind of thing that she does. Synthetic materials, things that, chemistry is something that is all encompassing. Virtually every aspect of development needs chemistry. Science, technology. So the issue of lack of stopping our dependence on is even very germane now. Just recently we heard about China discovering shale oil in large quantity. And the implication for that, for the oil market, is that very soon, very few people will need the crude oil from Nigeria.
The need for a symbiotic relationship between research agencies, universities, polytechnics, research institutes, and industries remains key to promoting the chemical industry for national development. From Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, John Felix reporting for Galaxy Television News.
Still in the southwest, Oyo State government has charged technical desk officers across its local government areas and local council development areas to focus on projecting development in their councils by mainstreaming the Sustainable Development Goals (SDG) into their development plans. Correspondent Kunle Ojo reports that the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Sustainable Development Goal (SDG), Honorable Kunle Yusuf, explains that since the current administration rely on logic, data, and science in its policy formulation, training and sensitizing policy drivers in its various councils was necessary to ensure the councils keyed into the 4 pillars of development of the state, which also correlate with the SDGs.
To leave no one behind is an implementation of SDGs in the state. We need the buy-in and active participation of all the segments of the society. We need to engage all stakeholders in a productive and inclusive way.
Budgeting is by data, and of course, statistics is scientific. So you see that your department is actually very important to this administration.
As you all know, information is the bedrock of every successful policy and program of the government. How do we access this information? We all know there is no other way but through adequate and quality data.
Now, an unprecedented fuel scarcity on Wednesday, 25th of August, greeted the people of Imo State, Southeast Nigeria. The Association of Imo Petroleum Marketers, AIPM, had announced that all stations should close their station and not dispense to anyone over a feud between them and the Imo State government. The people rather wonder what becomes of the situation in the coming days. They plead with the state government to, in the best of interest of masses, dialogue with the petroleum marketers in the state to have the problem solved as soon as possible.
That we just woke up this morning to start our normal activity. So we are surprised we just came out. All the filling stations were locked, we couldn't get fuel. It's just a horrible stuff.
For instance, over Hamina, looking to buy fuel and there is no other place open. So we are not happy.
What the union has done, I am told, is that they have shut down all the entry points into Imo State. So that any fuel tanker that is laden with the petroleum product will not enter Imo State.
The Federal Road Safety Commission, FRSC, was Wednesday picked by a claim from the Fiscal Responsibility Commission, FRC, that the agency was yet to remit the sum of 5.1 billion naira to it generated from 2016 to 2019 into the federal government account. The FRC made the allegation at a hearing organized by the House of Representatives Committee on Finance to interact with ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs of government on the 2022 to 2024 medium-term expenditure framework, MTEF, and fiscal strategy paper. However, in his defense, Vice Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi sought more time to double-check their records, claiming that his agency is law-abiding. The chairman of the Finance Committee, James Falike, APC Lagos State, however, questions the unnecessary expenditure embarked upon by the Federal Road Safety Corps. The federal government has been urged to step up the fight against banditry and other forms of insecurity in the country. An emeritus professor of political science, University of Ibadan, Professor John Ayoade, and head of Department Political Science, University of Ibadan, Professor Remi Ayede, in separate charts with correspondent Kunle Ojo, described the attack on the Nigerian Defense Academy as national embarrassment. They identified dishonesty as a major problem facing the country, noting that not all challenges facing Nigeria requires political explanation. They also share the opinions that the attack on the NDA by suspected bandits could be likened to attacking the Pentagon in the United States of America.
What we have in the country today is national dishonesty. We think that everything should be explained in political terms. But there are some things that go beyond politics because they are about life. The attack on NDA is the attack, if you want to compare with the United States, like the attack on Pentagon. Is the attack on the source of our security. And that they could gain entrance into that place means that the country is porous. And it's something that must be taken seriously at the highest level in this country.
I think it's an unfortunate incident, and it shows very clearly that we are not taking this banditry problem very seriously as we should. If you look at the way it occurred and the statements that have been released from the authorities of the NDA, there are claims that those who were supposed to be manning the CCTV cameras were asleep, or they were not manning those cameras, and they didn't know when those bandits penetrated the premises of the NDA.
The political scientist admitted that the state security in the country calls for serious measures, adding that authorities of the Nigerian Defense Academy should step up speedy investigation on the matter.
I think we have been playing games with security in the country, and we must step up, we must be more vigilant, and we must supply arms and ammunition for those who need them. Training is not the only thing that makes a military man. The equipment is more important. And a soldier without arms is like any rabble in the streets.
I think the government, especially the authorities of NDA, should show that they are up to the task. I think that by their training, by their profession and activities, they should be able to through intelligence and other measures, arrest those who are involved in the attack and bring them to justice.
And now to party politics. The chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, in consultation with his colleagues, have summoned an emergency meeting of the forum to hold on Thursday, 26th of August, 2021. A statement from the Director General of the forum, Cyril Madrabum, said the meeting will discuss recent developments in the PDP. It said the governors enjoined all PDP members and stakeholders to exercise patience as efforts are being made to ensure continued stability of the party in days ahead. Here's on to Galaxy Television News now. We'll take a break. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is the news on Galaxy Television. Now, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, on Wednesday presented checks worth 163.4 million naira to families of 118 deceased officers who died in active service. Chairman of the agency, Buba Marwa, while making the presentation in Abuja, said the burial benefit cuts across all ranks in the agency and that the amount differed depending on the rank and the circumstances on which the officer departed.
They told me that once an officer dies in service, it is they, the officers and men in the command, that gather money to give the family, to buy coffin, and hire a bus to go home, and all the other burial expenses. That was terrible. And it was in our report to the President, this issue.
Speaking on behalf of the beneficiaries, the widow of late Officer Hassan Amali thanked the chairman, saying the money will go a long way in assisting members of the families left behind.
For this unique occasion and for the payment of burial expenses to the next of kin of deceased officers and men. We are also grateful to you for ensuring that the widows and children of deceased officers and men do not suffer injustice.
Director General Bureau of Public Service Reforms, Ibrahim Arabi, says nation building rather than vested in selfish interests must be a driving force behind activities of civil society groups in Nigeria. Arabi stressed that integrity must be the driving force for individual and corporate businesses, while expressing hope of greater engagement with civil society groups on activities of government.
As it seeks to support the development of a culture of integrity within government and facilitates lesson sharing, approaches to value shifts from individual integrity to modern institutional integrity. Pursuant to the mandate of our agency, the Bureau of Public Service Reforms, we are saddled with the responsibility to initiate, coordinate, implement, monitor, and report reform initiatives.
Also, Chairman of Anti-Graft Agency, the ICPC, Balaji Owosanoye, represented by Commissioner Hassan Salimu, pledged that the Commission will sustain the new national ethics and integrity policy, which is geared towards changing the mindset of Nigerians at large.
Despite the quality of its workforce, be it military, paramilitary, or civil service, the Commission appreciates this opportunity to collaborate with Accountability Lab in building the capacity of civil servants who are the personnel and managers of Nigerian system. It is hoped that this will bring about the much needed ethical change, especially at a time like this when the nation is battling with endemic corruption and other related offenses.
You're still on to Galaxy Television News. Let's take yet another break. When we return, more news come your way. Stay with us, please. Welcome back. This is the news on Galaxy Television. Now, in Ogun State, the state government says it remains committed to providing opportunities to the agriculture sector with a view to enhance ease of doing business and attracting investors in the state. Abiodun, represented by his Commissioner for Special Duties, Femi Ogunbanwo, says exploiting the huge potentials of agriculture sector is key to achieving food sufficiency and economic growth.
As a government, we have a firm belief in inclusive agricultural opportunities that will not cut out smallholder farmers, youths, and women. These categories have been deliberately empowered with the knowledge and appropriate linkage that will enable them take their share of the new wealth and opportunities in Ogun agriculture.
Ogun State Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Adiola Odedino, stated that the resolve of the state government is to take the lead in delivering on gains of the renewed focus on agriculture.
Agricultural roadmap of Ogun State, as approved by His Excellency, the Governor of Ogun State, who happened to be the Governor of the year last year, and still the present one. One is support to smallholder farmers. We have a target of supporting over 40,000 smallholder farmers for planting material, and we're also targeting them in our special projects. Food security, nutrition security, job creation. The most important one is the industrial sector. We are linking young people to the supply chain in the agricultural industrialization agenda.
Let's stay with agricultural matters for a while, as National Agricultural Seeds Councils and Basic Projects team have commenced a 3-day refresher training course for licensed seed inspectors, LSIs, towards boosting commercial model for cassava seed systems in Nigeria. Director General of the Council, Dr. Philip Ojo, who commended the participant at the occasion held in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, said since the inauguration of the first set of licensed seed inspectors in 2019 and 2020 respectively, the Council deemed it fit to periodically update their capacity and assess the challenges in the third-party seed certification. Dr. Ojo was represented by the Director of Seed Certification and Quality Control, Dr. Ishaq Khalid, maintains that today's meeting is a reassurance of Basic 2 commitment to build capacity of the licensed seed inspectors to ensure the system is at par with international best practices.
Quality planting materials to enhance farm-level productivity. I recall vividly in October 2019 at this venue when we inaugurated the first set of LSIs, and also March 2020 at the progress audit of the third-party seed certification system. I gave high assurance that the Council will periodically update your capacity and also assess the challenges faced by LSIs in discharge of their responsibility, which I noted will guide the Council in addressing the threats to this laudable project.
Meanwhile, other guest speakers at the occasion also presented keynote addresses on the achievements so far under Basic 2, cassava seed entrepreneurship, production, and importance of cassava seed certification.
In the country, as well as its supply to the farmers. This LSI system is expected to support the formal seed structure that is present under the oversight of the inspection regime that is already present in the country. So a lot of effort has gone into this particular initiative since I think 2 years. When this idea came up, NAS decided to partner with CRS, a very able organization who have been working in Benue State for a very long time.
You're still on to Galaxy Television. Now up next is stories from the international scene.
Welcome to news from the international scene.
10 million children in Afghanistan are in desperate need of humanitarian assistance, UNICEF Afghanistan warns as the United Nations World Food Programs seek $200 million in food aid. Children in Afghanistan already survive on humanitarian assistance, and approximately 1 million are expected to suffer from life-threatening malnutrition this year, according to UNICEF. David Beasley, Executive Director of WFP, said 14 million people, one-third of the Afghan population, face food insecurity because of several years of drought, conflict, economic deterioration compounded by COVID. The World Bank has suspended aid to Afghanistan, freezing hundreds of millions in funding. It has provided $5.3 billion since 2002 and has 27 projects there. Last year, the IMF blocked the delivery of payments. Meanwhile, the United States and its Western allies are stepping up evacuation efforts after U.S. President Biden stuck to an August 31st deadline to withdraw troops from Afghanistan. More than 70,000 people, foreigners and Afghans have been evacuated since August 14, the day before the Taliban swept into Kabul. Still with Afghanistan, evacuations from Kabul airport in Afghanistan pick up pace, with the total number leaving since the Taliban takeover reaching 82,300. U.S. President Joe Biden says he aims to complete the operation and U.S. troop pullout by the 31st August deadline. Some U.S. troops have already started to leave as the effort enters its final phase. U.S. allies have pressed Biden to extend the time frame. There are fear thousands of Afghans who wish to flee the Taliban may be left behind. The Taliban says the Afghans should not go to Kabul airport or try to leave the country. Still on the international scene, China has criticized the politicization by the United States of effort to trace the origin of coronavirus, demanding a U.S. military laboratory be investigated shortly before the release of the U.S. intelligence community reported on the virus. The U.S. report is intended to resolve dispute among intelligence agencies, considering different theories about how the coronavirus emerged, including a once-dismissed theory about the Chinese laboratory accident. The U.S. report was due to be completed by Tuesday deadline, but it would take a few days to prepare an unclassified version for public release, the White House press secretary said this week. China has said a laboratory leak was highly unlikely. It has ridiculed a theory the coronavirus escaped from a lab in the city of Wuhan, where COVID-19 infections emerged in the late 2019, setting off the pandemic. China has instead suggested that the virus slipped out of a lab in Fort Detrick, Maryland in 2019. On Tuesday, China's envoy to the United Nations asked the head of the World Health Organization for an investigation into U.S. labs. A joint World Health Organization Chinese team visited the Wuhan Institute of Virology, but the U.S. said it had concerns about the access granted during the investigation. Lastly, on the international scene, Morocco's foreign ministry says the country regrets the completely unjustified decision of neighboring Algeria to break up diplomatic relations. Algeria formally announced the decision on Tuesday, citing a series of alleged hostile acts. The move was expected in view of logic of escalation observed in recent weeks, Morocco's foreign ministry said in a statement released overnight on Wednesday. The move cumulates a period of growing tension between the North African countries, which are mired in a decade-long feud, with their borders close to each other. The Algerian foreign minister notably denounced massive and systematic acts of espionage by Morocco, a reference to allegations that the kingdom's security service used Israeli-made Pegasus spyware against its officials and citizens, newsmen reported. Morocco adamantly denies the claims. Algeria last week said lethal wildfires were the work of a group it has labeled terrorist, one of which it said was backed by Morocco. The forest fire in Algeria, which broke out on August 9 amid a blistering heat wave, burned tens of thousands of hectares of forest and killed at least 90 people, including more than 30 soldiers. Algerian authorities have pointed the finger for the fires at the independent movement of the mainly Berber region of Kabylie, which extends along the Mediterranean coast east of the capital, Algiers. And that's all from news from the international scene.
This is the news on Ghana State Television. Let's also join our entertainment desk for more news.
Welcome to Entertainment News. Popular rap star M.I. Abaga couldn't hold his reservations about his horrible experience at a police station in Lagos. The displeased musician took to his Instagram story channel lamenting what he encountered while at the police station. Abaga highlighted the terrible working condition, the dilapidation, among all the disturbing development that needs to be attended to. According to the rapper, there's a lot of work that has to be done in the country. M.I. went on to deliver a charge to those who come across his post, stressing the importance of everyone getting their voters card. Meanwhile, Achilonu has deleted all of Ekubo's photos on her Instagram page. Now there are reports that the Nollywood actor Alex Ekubo and his fiancée Fancy Achilonu has called off their engagement. There were reports that alleged that she called off the engagement and deleted their joint Instagram page, Falex Forever. Achilonu has also unfollowed the movie star on Instagram even though he still follows her. However, Ekubo still has photos and video from the proposal and engagement ceremony on his Instagram page, while Achilonu has deleted every photo she has with the movie star on her Instagram page. The couple got engaged in Los Angeles, United States of America, and they were billed to walk down the aisle in November 2021. Also, Nigerian comedy great Bright Okocha, better known by his stage name Basket Mouth, has opened up about his alleged beef with Ayo Makun. Now, there have been long-running speculations about the relationship between the two comedy greats who have never worked together. During a recent interview on Ebuka Obi Uchendu's Black Box interview series, the conversation of alleged disunity among comedians in Nigeria came up. Ebuka brought up the alleged comedy beef with AY during the conversation, and Basket Mouth revealed that he fell out with his fellow comedian because he messed with loyalty. The 43-year-old comedian, however, played down the situation and revealed that they had settled it and moved on. Also, in the interview, Basket Mouth played down the speculations that he fell out with AY because he took his former mentee, Bovi, from him. Basket Mouth, however, seemed to throw a shade at AY with a story about a boy who lost his girlfriend to his neighbor, but later clarified he wasn't talking about Bovi or AY. He and Bovi were inseparable at some point, always hanging out together and collaborating on several projects. It hasn't been like that in recent years, prompting speculations that they have fallen out. Basket Mouth also revealed that he has a special coming in 2022 titled The Voices in My Head. Former Big Brother Naija housemate Uriel Kuta has lamented how she was single with no man approaching her for a period of 5 years. In a post on her Instagram page where she made this known, Okuta said she was not conscious of her weight, such that she made uncomfortable effort to maintain a body shape that would be more appealing to men. Stating that effort to be thick was not successful, Okuta noted that no man showed interest in her throughout the period. The reality TV star, however, said due to a health issue she had, it was a necessity for her to start working out in order to reduce her weight. According to her, working out has reduced her weight, and that has made her more appealing to men. Okuta says since she started working out to lose weight, different men have been approaching her for a relationship. And finally, on entertainment news, American rapper Kanye West has reportedly filed paperwork to change his name to Ye. According to TMZ, the billionaire rapper filed for the name change on Tuesday, August 24, 2021 at a Los Angeles court. This move is coming ahead of his forthcoming album, Donda, which he named after his late mother. Interestingly, Kanye's estranged wife, Kim Kardashian, still has his name attached to hers, months after filing for divorce. It is not clear if she will change her name if the court approves the billionaire's decision. The rapper first hinted about plans to change his name in 2019 when he had a conversation with Yeezy's head footwear designer, Steven Smith. And that'll be all on entertainment news.
And the entertainment news does it for us, but for more updates and latest news, visit our website at www.galaxytvonline.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/GalaxyTV Nigeria. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/GalaxyTV. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at official Galaxy TV. You can also avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. If you have breaking news around you, simply share your story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818-6666-669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments. To all our esteemed viewers across the globe, we say many thanks for sticking with us at the end of the news. My name is Tife. Let's do this again some other time. Bye for now.
Just because Premium Free brings you an amazing bouquet of channels completely free doesn't mean we can't up our game. How? Well, we won't know unless you tell us. Help Premium Free be even better and stand a chance to win airtime prizes by going to our Facebook page and completing our audience feedback survey. Tell us what you really like.